On April 29th, 2007, while fighting to rescue his fellow Marines from danger, Travis was killed by a sniper.
He and his Marines were on a patrol, and they were in search of a sniper in Fallujah, Iraq, that had been causing havoc all over the area. Got word that the sniper was in a certain building, so they went into the building and went in search of the sniper, and they realized quickly when they got into the building that it was an ambush.
Corman was shot. Travis exposed himself to enemy fire to pull him back to safety. When another one of his Marines was shot, Travis again exposed himself to enemy fire. Travis again exposed himself for a third time to try and hold back the enemy. And it was then he was hit by a single bullet. He was awarded the Silver Star for his actions that day. And his citation, the last line reads that his deliberate and courageous actions saved every member of his patrol.
So Travis was a hero, and Travis was also a friend of mine, so we went to high school together, and he was a classmate and a teammate. We played both football and lacrosse together, and so we spent a lot of time together as kids and as young adults before he shipped out. So as a result and in honor of Travis's life, his family started the Travis Manion Foundation.
Travis was home from his first deployment and on leave, about to leave for his second deployment to Iraq. He came back to Philadelphia, stationed in Camp Pendleton at the time, and one of the things he made sure he did while he was back in Philadelphia was attend a Philadelphia Eagles game. And so Travis went to the game with my husband that night, and they were at the game, and my husband said that he couldn't stop thinking about the fact that Travis was leaving so soon to go back to Iraq. After the game, the Eagles had won, and they were leaving, and they came upon a flight of stairs leaving the stadium. And my husband said that it got the best of him, and he just kind of blurted it out and said, "Hey, Trav, why don't you let me push you down the stairs, and maybe you'll break your ankle and you won't have to go back to Iraq." And he said Travis, who had been super lighthearted all night, stopped, and he looked at Dave, and he didn't say anything at first, but he got real serious. And then he said, "You know, Dave, if I don't go back to Iraq, then somebody much less prepared for the job at hand is going to go in my place. If not me, then who?" You know, when we thought about what that meant, those 5 words that he spoke on the stairwell in the stadium, we realized that those were the first time that somebody had actually heard him say those 5 words. But they were the 5 words that he lived by each and every day of his life. When you look back over the course of his 26 years, we were able to identify, and to this day, we still hear these stories of how Travis demonstrated what it meant to live by those 5 words. And so they were the ethos that he maybe unknowingly was living by as a young child. And they were the draw that took him back to Iraq for a second deployment. And at the end of the day, they were the 5 words that he lived by on the last day of his life when he pulled his 2 teammates to safety.
Janet and I started to get a lot of these stories after we lost Travis about how he showed up. You know, whether it was Kevin Clerkin, who was, a little guy nobody really knew in high school, and he wrote a 2-page letter to us saying that, Travis always included me in everything he did. I mean, and he didn't need to. He was the top athlete, academically very popular, but Travis was always there to put an arm around me and make sure I was included with everyone else. And all those stories started to come together. We started to hear so much of this. Not only the stories as he was growing up, but the if not me then who stories in the places he served, in Iraq, in the Marine Corps. And that's really what sort of pulled everything together for us when we started to think about what impact we could have as a family, and we started to think about those words, those 5 words, if not me then who.
He was such a humble individual, and just this idea that there's this leading veteran service organization with hundreds of thousands of people a part of it, and it's named Travis Manion.
And the foundation basically helps civilians and veterans that want to serve others. That was Travis's kind of mantra in life, was to serve others and help others. And one of the biggest events they have is this nationwide Heroes Run. So it's in 90 cities across the country, and it's held on or around 9/11 to honor the first responders that gave their lives both on 9/11 and also after the events that followed 9/11. Travis obviously being one of them. I think it's important that young people understand the magnitude of that day of 9/11/2001. That changed the way that we all live today. It was a big day and a significant day in my life, in our life, of those that lived through it, not just that day, but the days that followed, in terms of international security, internal security, the way we communicate, the way we relate to each other, the way we gather in large spaces. I mean, it changed everything. So, I want to make sure that we all remember that the significance of that day, specifically the people that really just woke up and went to work that day and never were able to come back to their families because of what happened. So there's that, and then I think there's also a great opportunity to gather as community. One of the neatest things, if that's the right word, that came out of 9/11 that was unexpected in many ways, was the way that really the nation came together in those following days to rally behind the first responders and rally behind each other and check on each other and be together. It was a great sense of community in those days and weeks that followed this event. And I want that day, this race, to have a little piece of that, a little piece of remembering, honoring, but also of being together and feeling that camaraderie as Americans and supporting each other again.
But my response to him is that his name represents this generation. It puts a face and a name to this generation of men and women who have stepped up to selflessly serve. But the other thing I think is that if Travis was here right now, he'd be serving right alongside us, and he'd be such a big part of the work that we're doing, and he would love every single second of it.
The 9/11 Heroes Run will be held here on Saturday, September 7th at 8 a.m. And the concept of the run, the race, is to honor First Lieutenant Travis Manion. So it brings out about 60,000 runners each year. And like I said, it's in 90 cities worldwide, and I'm bringing it here to Louisville for the first time. So I'm excited about it. It's going to be held here at St. X, and I encourage our students to come out. I would encourage our teachers to come out. We want as many runners and ruckers as possible, but we also want people who aren't interested in necessarily or can't run or ruck to volunteer. So we are going to have a link through campus ministry for service hours for our students that want to volunteer and get involved in that way. There's plenty of ways to participate in the day's activities. Registration for runners, we ask that you register online before you come out to the event, so you can get yourself a Travis Manion Foundation 9/11 Heroes Run event t-shirt and stickers and swag and a bag. And I think it's $35 to sign up to run. And like I said, that gets you a t-shirt, gets you registered, and it gets you a donation to the foundation.